So for this part of the lesson, we are looking at creating a Christmas market scene. So this is what I will be demonstrating to a point, really. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it is quite time consuming as well. So just remember that is actually quite time consuming, this scene, so you might not get it finished in the time that we have this morning, but that's okay because you'll all take the paints away and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at snow, I'm going to be looking at sky, just various techniques that we can just remind ourselves about acrylic painting. You also have a selection of different images that you might want to use wholeheartedly, or you might want to create a collage or a montage with, and just take little bits out of the pictures and put them onto yours. As you'll notice, the majority are two-dimensional, so we don't have to worry about any depth, and it's sort of quite fun to do, really. So that's where we're going to go from now. So what I suggest is that you find a picture and you sketch it out onto your paper. I'm using A4 because that's all I've got. Some of them are quite intricate, so you might want to use a bigger sheet. Yeah. Just for recording on. I've just done a very vague sketch. It's not as detailed as this sketch. Because I'm just going to be demonstrating a few tips and techniques with regards to how we're going to approach this this picture. So we're going to work out of a ground from behind. So obviously we've used ground before in terms of the teacup, which we did, gosh, back in the beginners course. So all our outlines are going to be dictated by the ground that's behind it. So all will become clear. So I'm going to use a darkish blue variegated wash at the back of this painting. So I'm using some ultramarine, and I'm going to mix that with orange, which I'm going to have to make. So I've got some cad red, and I'm going to use some yellow, some lemon yellow, or whatever that yellow. Obviously, there's always a bias for the yellow when we make orange because the red dominates quite considerably, as you can see. Can everybody see that? Yeah. So the reason that we're using the orange with the blue is to knock back that chroma. So in last week's lesson, we wanted to create, wanted to knock back the chroma and come into the sort of next chroma. So we knock back this blue, the intensity of this blue, the saturation, with orange being the complementary colour, obviously. So I'm just going to add this to here. So we want to make this blue a little bit less sort of bluey and take it down to that sort of a bit more of a midnight blue. You don't really need very much, but that orange will come in handy later anyway. So can you see that's coming at a nice midnight blue? Is that coming up okay on screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I might not have mixed enough here, but yesterday when I did it twice, I mixed too much. So.
So we have an orange, Lisa. Shall I just give everybody the orange to save them mixing, or?
Oh, Jackie, no, I can't let that slip through.
Jackie just said ask next time.
I can't agree to that behaviour.
The tables you can't see can have orange.
It's up to the individual. You know, I can't say anything. I'm just squidging on some white. Make sure it is white paint. It is white paint, not obviously the modelling paste. And I'm just going to put a touch in there just to lighten that up a little bit. I don't want it this dark, really. And that, I would say, is quite a nice sort of midnight blue, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thing is though, if you do use the mixed paint, well, one, you miss out on all the fun of mixing paint, and two, I don't know, you don't really know what the ratio is, I suppose, in that orange. Perhaps, I don't know. You might want a darker, so you put more red in. You might want it lighter. You want more yellow or greeny. You might want to put yellow in. So yeah, I can't condone it, I'm afraid. Jackie, you and your ways. Okay, so where's my big brush there? So when it comes to not doing an impasto colour, I like to just wet my brush, and normally that's enough water to add to the paint in my book. But you know, that might not necessarily be the truth. But you want to be able to see the drawing through the paint.
Right, all the drawings are going to go, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no point doing it to your knee, really. No. But you'll have to make sure that you press hard enough on your pencil, otherwise you will feel
No, I've just realised that actually.
Mine's really faint. I'm gonna lose
Mine's
it.
really faint.
yeah, otherwise it won't show through.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that before. I'm so sorry. Okay. I mean, it will. You know, you should, once it dries, you know, you should see a little bit better. So we want a variegated wash. So we want to add more water to this as we go down the
Right, I'm not going to draw anymore.
The whole
You
thing.
guys are spending hours just going too detailed.
The pencil, look, the pencil will come through. Yeah, just have to
Just make it really thin.
Yeah.
thin wash on there. It's fine because it's going to be variegated anyway. You can always go over it afterwards. Ooh, that's weird. It's repelling my.
It is. That's like waxy. Yeah.
And then you know, when you get to the bottom, you're getting a lot thinner.
Right. Cool. So by the bottom where you don't have any picture, you can
We'll get there in the end. So if you've got a chance, I mean, what you could do this whether you finish your picture or not, and then just go over the picture once it's dry if you want to. So.
Oh, too many options for me.
Oh, Jane, the anxiety of choice.
Yeah.
And that's really the variegated wash, I would say.
Right.
You could go back to the top and make it a little bit darker if you wanted to, while it's still a bit damp. That's what I thought I might do, just on the sky. Looks a lot lighter actually on my computer than it does in real life. Oh, sorry, that was my stretch noise. Sorry.
I'm not putting people in mine.
I'm
I'm putting buildings in the Christmas tree.
I've just deleted my people.
Just deleted the building.
No, I'm not worrying. I'm just going to do it at my own pace.
So once that's what, so
Yeah,
we now, and if you're doing that, I suggest that you went for a brew or two. It shouldn't take too long. It's quite,
A tea. Oh.
is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop the recording now. So and then.
Right.
So for the next part of this demonstration, we're going to colour in the sky to make a snowy, wintry, moonlit sky. And for this, we're going to use a round brush, and we're going to use a flat hog's hair brush. Okay. So to begin with, what we want to do, I have created here. I've pulled out a few different tints of this blue, so I've just added white. So I've got a variance here. So I'd like you to do that, just pulling from the from the main colour. but I'm going to use just some white, and possibly I'll have to go over the moon a couple of times. I'm just going to paint the moon in white. My moon's disappeared. And like I say, I'll probably come back to it anyway. You don't have to use a round brush. If you're more confident using a different brush, then use a different brush. It's fine. Just thought I might get a little bit more detail. I might get a bit rounded because I'm wearing these new varifocals. I don't know what's round, right, or anything at the moment. So I'm hoping that that's round-ish. So once you've got that, then we will want to take around the moon. I would say is the whitest. So I'm just putting some paint onto my brush, and I just want to stipple around there. Yeah. And I'm leaving that sort of I say the corona, but they're leaving that. Is it a corona around the moon? There's always a dark. Circle. I want to get a little bit closer in, but they're not the most refined of brushes, really. So obviously, the closer to the moon, then the brighter this, whatever you call it, the light. And then we can just take a little of the next colour, and then we can start adding that. So that should blend in quite nicely.
What was the next colour?
That one there is my third tint. So that's my base colour. Then I've tinted it with white there, and then I've tinted it again. Just adding different variants of white and sort of pulling it down. So like I say, this can go on a while. It looks a lot brighter with you than it does with me, actually. So just want to make sure that that blends in. So we will get this effect. That's the idea. And you need to pay attention as well to the buildings as well. So we'll use the round brush for that. But we need to know what colour we're going to actually use to get around those buildings. So this will dry a little bit darker than what it looks. And then you can start sort of splaying this out till you get to a bit of the darker colour. You can start sticking that in, and then can you see that? I mean, it looks a bit. It doesn't look like that on my paper, but hopefully it will look better when it dries. I've just gone over my steeple. And that's really what we'll do for the sky. And taking a round brush, we'll need to get down in there, and I think that's the edge of my steeple. And that's it, really. So whether or not, if you want me to continue with that, or whether you want to give that a go yourselves.
Redraw mine, Lisa.
What's that, sorry?
I'm going to have to redraw mine. I can't see it at all.
Yeah, just put a couple of marks in there with that blue pencil that Jackie's given you, and hopefully, all will come.
What a shame.
Yeah.
I can see standing back actually.
You can see a little bit, but me, I can't see the roof.
But it's not a bad thing that you can't see it in a way, because,
Right.
but you know, obviously, if you can't see it at all,
It goes through.
then it's a great idea.
Yes.
So what are you doing the outline with? Is that your kind of third
I use the round brush to do the outline. So depending on where, on which.
Okay, yeah, you are. Yeah.
I'm actually getting down there. I'll use the round brush with that colour. And then eventually I want it to sort of peter out into that first dark colour that we created. It looks really weird on the screen. I don't know how it looks over that, but it looks like I've just slapped on a load of paint. But it does look a bit more. Hopefully, when it dries, it'll look better.
You're just sort of highlighting around the chimneys and stuff.
Yeah. I'm just getting a line more than anything, because otherwise it'll just. The first one I didn't bother doing this, and it completely disappeared. So that wasn't a good move. And then I can go in, and I've got a little bit of a guide then.
So is this meant to be a painting, not in pastel?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I feel the same. I like it pastel more.
I might do mine a bit in pastel. I struggle doing acrylics other than doing it heavy.
So do I, actually. I like impasto oils. That's what I like too.
Yeah. I might just do it in pastel.
I would give it a go though, Jade, if I'm honest, because then at least you can use acrylic in the way it's sort of, in the way it's for a painting. Maybe it's good to push myself. I think for me it's quite good for me to push myself to do this sort of thing. Otherwise I'll just be very comfy. So
you just be putting it straight on, is that right?
Yeah,
And having it lumpy.
Yeah, very lumpy.
Sorry, just checking.
Yeah. Lumpy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it thin, but it looks a bit.
Is that an artistic term, lumpy?
It is now, right? It is now.
Art by Jane, lumpy.
Just like your custard.
I don't do custard.
Checking.
So good.
Good.
And then I'll take it off.
That's true. This will all be online, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Ah, yes, good, isn't it?
It is everything. Yeah, and well, we're going to need it today, I think.
At least it's not an empty lesson, aren't it?
Oh, no. And this is quite nice, watching it develop. And I'll be able to go home and...
Yeah. Should we be using a wet brush, Lisa?
A damp brush, yeah.
Damp.
Yeah, I've dampened mine off. Otherwise, you will end up with an impasto. So yeah. But can you see how that's developing? Are you confident enough? Are you happy with that? And I'm just going to put a little bit of this dark colour over on the edges here, just to blend it in a little bit more.
Does it sometimes make it show up? Yeah, so make it show up more than the pencil?
No,
Well,
I
it's
can't.
just overdrawing. So overdrawing this.
Oh, boy.
What's the matter, Ryan? What have you done?
Too wet.
No.
Dab it off, Roy, if you can. It should be okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with this.
Yes, much press. Have you got a 4B?
No idea what I'm doing this.
No, then I've got 4B back.
4B, and it will definitely.
You got a 4B at the back?
Because all you need is the outline. Really.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to do.
All
It's
you
fine.
need is
Yeah,
yeah.
We actually quite really brush.
We go over the moon a little bit more, just to make it a little brighter.
With white, yeah.
Yeah, just with white.
Too much.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Do you want a pencil, Andrew?
I brought my pencil, so I've got one from home, thank you.
Do you want a darker pencil, please? I think. So that's right. You can use that one and use it a darker.
That'll be fine, thank
That's right. I think you're okay.
I'm fine,
Yeah,
thank
you
you.
can.
I'm not sure what pencil.
And the next thing I'm going to do is just look at the church, for example. So the church is quite white as well. So I'm going to pop in those white values on the church. But it's a little bit mixed with the blue. So I'm just going to make that just slightly tinted.
Church. Like these little boxes.
Might be better with a smaller brush actually.
What size brush is that you're using, Lisa?
Number 2.
Number 2. So
I mean, if you're on A3, then you've got a little bit more leeway, obviously, than me because it's teeny.
aye.
Sorry, it's, this, Jane, is where you'll struggle with the impasto quite considerably because getting the detail with impasto is quite difficult, I think. As you can see, where there's a dark area, rather than me putting it in, I'm actually leaving it out. So so that ground, that background, that ground informs those lines. And it's quite effective. I think it's quite an effective way to do it, I think.
That's just white, is it, Lisa?
That was white there, just with a hint of that very light tint there, Fiona. So that was a bit of white and just a touch of this one here. snow anywhere else on any other roof. I don't quite understand, but anyway.
But we could change it, can't we?
We can do whatever we like. We can put snow wherever we fancy. So just for the record, I'm just sticking some snow down on these eaves. Are they eaves? The gable end?
Gable end.
Yeah.
And
now it's just.
Well, I did that. It's £7, but then I got fed up and came off it. And I need to back on it.
What did you?
and one other thing I'm going to show you is the chimney, is the smoke.
And just
So I just take a brush. I
tapped it with this.
and then what I'll do, I'll just make sure I get it into a peak. Okay. Get my brush into a peak. And we're doing the smoke from the chimney. So I get a little bit of my brush. Get my brush into a nice peak, and then I'll take the peak. Oh gosh, my hand's shaking for some reason. From there, and then I'll push it down, and then go up. Okay, so it's an actual action.
Your hand with that.
Oh, okay. So if I do it, let me do it on here. Okay. Where won't you see my hand? I'll try and do it on the yeah. I'll do it. So what I do, I do this and get that into a really nice peak. Okay. So get that. So that's what I want. I want that to be loaded from the tip. So then I take my. Oh no, you can't see it. I have to do it the other way. So I put my tip down.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I push the brush and then bring it back up again. So do it the other way around, okay? The other way around. So you will want to, I'll see if I can do it the other way around so you can see. But the brush really needs to be vertical. So I'll just try it not vertical. So tip, and then push, and then tip.
With a pointed synthetic. I'm still drawing mine back in. Don't forget, you'll be able to watch this at home.
I know, that's true. Pointed peak.
But you'll still won't be able to see my little tip.
Yeah.
But you know, when this is finished, we go
So that's how you get that sort of smoke effect.
A
Window.
lot of people are still, drawing in what they've painted over. That's all right. We're listening.
Well, yeah, that's okay, because I mean, like I say, the video is going to be there because I don't think we're finished, and I'm just showing a couple of tips because not everybody possibly is going to do this actual image, and there's only a couple more things I need to show you really. So in the meantime, what I'll do, I'll just colour in one of these buildings, and then I'll pop in the windows, and then I'll put some snow down the bottom here. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, lovely.
Okay. Jackie. So you might want to distribute, obviously. And then all we do is just dot that, just make sure it's runny enough, and just dot that into the windows. You might not be able to see it very well from there. And then we'll add a little dot of yellow, just to give it little sort of sparkles.
Lines, and underneath, hasn't she? Hardy works really well, doesn't it? It does. Like the whole bit out, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So basically the lines become the blue wash underneath become the dark line.
And then just with a little bit of yellow, we'll just pop that in and give it a little bit more.
A tiny little bit, because I don't know that I'm going to get that far. Okay. Sorry.
Which is a bit difficult on the A4, but if you can just see a little bit of yellow, makes that sort of stand out a little bit better. And then once that's dry, which should be a couple of minutes, we'll go over the wood with a little bit of white. And that's the window. Now with the snow down here, it's exactly the same principle as the sky, but obviously you've got a lighter background, so it makes it a little bit different. And again, it's just a dot 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 situation. Fit.
Just do these lines in blue.
Yeah, just use the
blue and just drag the colour down to fade.
I don't mind two on top, but I'll get back to do stuff really easy for me. Focus here or whatever. But I feel like actually you would as long as it's not all
right down
online.
front here. Yeah, that would be in distance, and that would work. Yeah, that would work. Yeah. Yeah.
Stop the recording.
I know. Yeah, well, I know that's what you got to.
Just labouring the point. So, thank you very much.